basketball fans, welcome back. So, the Kenyan Morans, we covered their stint when it came to the Afrobasket qualifiers. They qualified for Afrobasket, the 2021 Afrobasket. So, in this video, we're looking at their first game. The Kenyan Morans played against Cote d'Ivoire. This game ended 88-70. Let's just talk about this. So, the Kenyan Morans in this game, they started off the game pretty well. They started off pretty solid in the first and second half. You could see, not in the second half, the first and second quarter. The first half was actually decent, and we had flashes of brilliance, especially when it came from our offensive side of the ball. Our shots were going in well. But the main thing that I was looking at is how we finished the game, and it was actually quite underwhelming as Cote d'Ivoire were able to figure out a way to stop the Kenyan Morans and stop us when it came to when it mattered, especially at the fourth quarter and when the game was just ending. So looking at this whole situation, we'll just take a deep dive in the stats. We look at statistically what happened, because at the time of this game, I remember I watched this game live and even came out with my video on the commentary I had back then, and it hasn't changed much. It's just a retrospective look to see how far we've come, and also just appreciate what it took to get to where we are right now. Because since the Afrobasket, there's a lot of things that have happened, especially with reference to the team. And in this video, we'll just take a step back, look at what happened in these four games. We're going to look at the game against Nigeria, the game against Mali, and the game against South Sudan, and also just see what thing was remained constant in our run, especially after the Afrobasket, in the FIBA World Cup, in the Afrocan, and right now we're headed to the 2025 Afrobasket, which is days away. So in this game, Cote d'Ivoire, they came out well. They shot the ball pretty well, especially from downtown, 35% from downtown. And the funny thing was, in the free throws, we shot at a similar clip, 67% shooting from the line. And quite interesting enough, you could see on the field goals, we shot at a similar rate, because Cote d'Ivoire, they shot 41% and the Kenyan Morans 40%. And in the rebounds department, they're able to out-rebound us. But if you look at the scoring evolution here, you can see majority of the lead changes, they happened in the second quarter. And this is where the Kenyan Morans were really, trying to show that they're here to compete. But after that, I felt like Tyler Ongwae, and because he was the engine and the system of the team, he kind of gassed out, and in the second half, it was just all downhill, especially in the fourth quarter. Because if you look at how the Cote d'Ivoire team pulled away, they pulled away completely, and there was nothing that was stopping them. And even in the other statistical categories, they were able to reign supreme and dominate. They were able to limit their turnovers to 12. They had 24 assists, 12 steals, and limited their fouls to only 14. But the Kenyan Morans, especially defensively, this is the game that we had 7 blocks. We had 20 turnovers, which is a norm, especially for games that we lose. Then, when it came to points from turnovers, you could see that those are the key stats that Cote d'Ivoire at the time were able to dominate. Fast break points, they had 20. And points in the paint, you could see they were really going at it, especially in points in the paint. But you could see also the Kenyan Morans are also fighting in there for those points inside. And the funny thing that I saw in this game was the way we started. We started off on a mean streak, but in the second half, it all went downhill. So the usual suspects. So Tyler Ongwae was the guy that he was the only person that scored 10 points or more. I dare say he's the leading scorer with 25 points, and he played heavy minutes at that. He was 10 of 19 from the field and 3 of 3 from the line. He shot actually efficiently from the line. And the one thing that I looked at, especially when it came to, going into and even drawing fouls and going to the line, the Kenyan Morans have a tendency of sending their opposing team to the line more times. They have seen this not only in the men's team but also the women's team, both in the national level and in the club level. So Situma Kayamba, he played 18 minutes. He had zero productivity scoring wise, but he had 6 assists. Actually led the game. He had a game high 6 assists in this game. Griffin, 4 minutes played. He actually played a lick of basketball. He did nothing. Eric Motoro did nothing in the game. He had a plus minus of -8. Victor Bosire, you can see the legacy players all in full glare. You can see Griffin, Eric Motoro, Victor Bosire, very inefficient. It's actually unfortunate that Victor Bosire is the captain of the team right now, because this is the productivity that he has exhibited, especially when it matters. This is the productivity that you're supposed to see him as, not the type of person that when he plays for the Equity Dumas, that's not the player that you're getting. This is the player that you're getting, especially in the national stage. Fidel Okoth at the time, he didn't play a lot and he had zero productivity at that. Albert Oder, this was his debut, and he actually had a solid debut. Didn't expect him to be like the first, second, or third option, but he came in and he tried to play as well. And this was the first time he was suiting up. Valbuza, nothing. Desmond Willie, he had nothing. Only 4 fouls and 2 turnovers, and 4 points that meant nothing. Ronald Gombe, nothing. He did nothing. Busha Mukota and Okal Karanga just had a similar game, and it showed you that the offensive productivity only lied with Tyler. And now that Tyler is no longer on the team, there's no defunct number one option or scoring. So that's one thing that is going to hurt the team in this campaign, especially matching up against the defending champions Tunisia, the Angolan team that made their World Cup appearance, and Guinea. I don't think that the Kenyan Morans have the ability to go ahead and even do something in those matchups. Even if you look at the way they scored the basketball in the first half, you could see there were a lot of circles because they were able to not only attack inside but also attack from the from the 3 ball. But not all their 3-point attempts went in, which is the 3-point attempt is a low percentage shot. But if you look at this third quarter, you can see they were actually quiet. They didn't make a 3 at all. Didn't make a 3 at all. We had Stu Makamba, he bricked a 3. And you're seeing these long threes. I'm not sure why, what business this guy had in taking that 3. Should have at least passed the ball inside, but I was just playing out of his position. Then in the fourth quarter, that was when they capitulated completely. Because if you put like the short chart for the third and fourth quarter, you can see this is the reason as to why we lost the game. And it's quite interesting. In the second half, there was no 3s made. Majority of them were long 2s. There were long 2s and inside shots and layups. So without any productivity coming from knocking down the 3 ball, that's the main reason as to why the Kenya Morans are not able to cut the deficit at that. And that's the reason as to why in the third quarter, as you can see 21-15. In the fourth quarter, Cote d'Ivoire were able to pull away 28-16. So they were up double digits. They were almost up double digits when it came to closing out the game, and that's the reason as to why the score looked like that. And with that one, Cote d'Ivoire, after beating us, the next team that was lined up was Nigeria, and that's another tough matchup. And I feel like a lot of people give credit to the Kenya Morans with the way they performed, but for me, to be quite honest and frank, this was something I was expected. I did not see them winning this game. I did not think that they're going to beat 6-0 Cote d'Ivoire. Actually, Cote d'Ivoire, the team that not only did they finish the qualifiers unbeaten, but they also finished number 2 behind the reigning champions Tunisia. So in that game, I didn't have too much expectations at that, and also remember the fact that Cote d'Ivoire, we matched up with against them in the FIBA AfroCan, but the Kenya Morans beat the Cote d'Ivoire team, but that was against bench players. It didn't have like the A team for Cote d'Ivoire at the time. So as much as people try to remove context, especially when it comes to these games, I'm just here to set the record straight and just give it the way it is without, trying to sugarcoat things. But the Kenya Morans, I can't say that they tried, but I just knew that they're going to capitulate at some point in the second half. Especially looking at when you look at the box score, there was this time Talongwa and the former coach Les Mills were asked, why is it that it's only Tyler that is scoring double digits and nobody is coming out there to help him? So that was actually one of the most glaring issue at that, because scoring wise nobody was helping this guy. Because if we had another player who was able to give at least 15-16 points on efficient shooting splits, it would really help. This is where the number 2 options come in. This is where some people are supposed to step up. A guy like Bush cannot be the number 2 option. He cannot even be he's not even a good number 5 option on the team, because he doesn't care about winning. This is a guy that he's very inefficient. He's a guy that I'm not sure he has a very good basketball IQ, because of look at how they foul them. They look at their fouling stance, because Bush, he had 4 fouls, Desmond Willie 4 fouls, Victor Busera 4 fouls. Playing hard is not about fouling. Playing hard is playing good, is smart defense, and all of you have to be disciplined on defense. So every time they try to go for the blocks and they keep fouling, every time they're not on the string on defense, that's the reason as to why they're fouling a lot. And it really hurts their productivity, because with those 4 fouls, it limits their defense, especially in the second half. So there's that. And it's unfortunate that Telongo is not on the team, and he gave out his reasons as to why he's no longer on the team because of management, and he said he's not going to return, and officially made his statement after the Afrobasket. So I'm not sure why there are rumors here, people here peddling some things that he's gonna come and play, but he already made his statement clear there. So given this whole situation, I'm not sure with this team. I'm not sure with this team right now in this year's Afrobasket, but in this year Afrobasket qualifiers, but who knows? Maybe things are going to change, but I don't think that the time is now for things to change. The Kenyan Morans are just gonna get swept with against Tunisia, against Angola, and against Guinea. And it's just going to be brutal, because right now they have a false sense of security. They keep beating the select teams thinking that they're going to win, but anyway, it is what it is. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments section. This is based on my opinion, and not only my opinion but also fact-based opinion. So if you like it, please be sure leave a comment down below. And also, if you're watching this on Instagram, please be sure follow me on Instagram as well, because I'm going to be releasing a lot of these types of videos. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified, and I'm out. Peace.